Welcome to Doing Business Gently. I'm your host, Marta Gertzen. Here on the podcast, the goal is to create a safe place for us to talk about creating a gentle life-business integration. And we approach this idea by creating a life-first business, one that is designed to fit you, your values, priorities, personality, and the current season of life you're in. We also talk about how to find business clarity, ask the question, is it time to pivot? How do I create more alignment? How faith and business can work together, and about doing all of this from a habit and a place of rest. Join me today as we explore the idea of what is a gentle business rebellion, and do you need to start your own? As I shared in the last episode, a gentle business rebellion came up for me during a tough season where I had intense caregiving responsibilities that forced me to reprioritize my business and my life, and honor the priority of my family. It's the reason I started my business. And through that, I had to come to grasp with what could I keep up with, what could I couldn't, what was aligned, what wasn't, what was gentle, what wasn't. And through this came the idea of a gentle business rebellion. And a gentle business rebellion for me has become a passion project. It's become something I love to talk about because I know so many of us need it. If you are a listener, you're probably over 50, you've probably got some health issues, you've probably got your own caregiving issues, and you've also been in business long enough to know, I really like what I do, but is there more? And am I ready for more? And I have this list of things I'm supposed to do. We all know that in 2025, the market has changed and it's getting harder in some ways to do the work we love to do. So is it time for a pivot? Have I grown? What do I do? There's so many questions that end up just keeping us stuck. And that feeling of stuckness is not fun. It adds even more stress and it is definitely not gentle. So if any of that sounds like you are perfectly qualified to start your own gentle business rebellion. Today, I wanted to dive into this idea a little bit more, explain what it is. It is a growing movement. It is something that as I dive more into it, I understand it better. As I talk to more of you, I understand what you are looking for and how this can help you. But this right now is what I know for sure about a gentle business rebellion. One, it is a quiet revolution. There's that juxtaposition of gentle versus rebellion that I find very intriguing. Because a gentle business is not a weak business. It is actually very strong. If you think about the gentlest people you know in your life, most of them have gone through some very tough things. Things that have softened the edges, something that has made them more empathetic, something that has prompted them to want to help people. And so if you look at it that way, gentle is not weak. It's not a permission to hide. It's not a permission to do nothing. Gentle is actually strong, and gentle often has a lot of opinions about things, but they approach things from a different mindset, a different mentality. They're willing to speak up when they need to, but they're also willing to come along and want to come along somebody who is struggling. So it is a quiet revolution because a lot of us are introverts and we're tired of the noise. We're tired of the toxic hustle. But we've also realized that we've grown as entrepreneurs. We're not the same as the person who started the business way back at day one. And now it's time to figure out, do we keep doing this and keeping it status quo, or do we honor our growth and move into the next level of entrepreneurship? But realizing that we need to do it differently. We need to lead differently. Because this is an invitation to a new way of doing business. And it's one that honors your season of life, your values, your God-given identity. And because we are sensitive or highly sensitive persons, HSPs, or we're very reflective, or we're introverted, we often struggle to find our place in the business world. And when we approach things from a gentle perspective, something that gives us time and space, and that we can find our pace within the hectic world of entrepreneurship and having a business online, that is a gentle way to do business. It's also a decision to build your business rooted in alignment, conviction, rest, not the toxic hustle, and not constantly needing external validation. It's also not consuming tons and tons of content that we are consumers only and not producers. It's also about saying enough is enough. It's a stand for doing business the way you were designed to be, your personality. your season of life. So many times we think of business as being rigid, but most of us started our businesses for the flexibility, for the creative outlet, for the ability to change things around when we have somebody who needs some help, or we just need a day of rest. And most of us have not built businesses that do that. As a gentle business owner, we want to do that more. This is a rebellion for the woman who's done the work. If you're like me, you've been in business for a while, you've built the thing, you've probably built several things, you've built different versions of it, and you do have this nudge or this sense that there's something out there waiting for you, that there's a next level, there's a new way to do business that allows you to step further into your calling. I know for me, and I'll share my journey later on, a bit more about my journey, but I started as a virtual assistant. Quickly realized that was not really and truly for me and went into web design. Web design was great, but I found myself doing more and more coaching. And so I added coaching to the way I did web design, and I made it a critical piece of it. And eventually I realized I wanted a mastermind. I started a mastermind, and I found that I loved coaching. Whereas originally, if you'd asked me, are you a coach? I said, no way, no way. And come to find out, I love it. But it's taken time. But each time there's been a significant transition, there's been a resistance and going, wait a minute, I'm scared. I don't want to pivot. I don't want to ruin what I've already built. But I also know that I am ready for more. But understanding what that more is wasn't always clear. And so back then, I wish I'd had the Gentle Business Rebellion. It would have helped me transition and make those changes in a way that was a lot less stressful and a lot easier to understand. When it comes to having a gentle business, we have this list of things that we think we need to be doing. We need to be doing all the coaching. We need to be doing all the different programs. We need to show up on every channel. And now I understand that not everybody's like that, but that is what we're told what we need to do. That list of shoulds that tells us what we need to do to have a successful business. We need to show up. We need to work harder. Even though there's this movement out there of the anti-hustle movement, it doesn't really fit a lot of us. It doesn't really work for us. And a gentle business, I should say right here, is not anti-hustle. I believe there are seasons and there are times that we need to hustle to get the job done. I need to hustle over and take care of my mom sometimes. I need to hustle because I have a deadline to get a podcast out. I need to hustle and make sure that all my clients are taken care of before I head out on vacation. But it's for a specific purpose and it's for a specific reason. The problem is when that becomes a standard way of living and doing business. And that's what I call toxic hustle. And a gentle business is definitely anti-toxic hustle, where it becomes the norm rather than the exception. So when you realize that you can step back, that you're not having to hustle all the time, you start to analyze a few other things. You are not interested in being louder in your marketing and showing up every place and everywhere and just feeling like you're shouting into the void. Because a gentle business is not a quiet business, but it's not something where you have to literally show up everywhere and expend all of your energy to do it. So a gentle business definitely needs to market, needs to get out there, needs to make connections, but it doesn't have to be loud to the exclusion of everything else where it's taking all of your energy, all of your resources so that you feel drained and can't do anything else. That is not a gentle approach to business or marketing. You are craving a space to pause, reflect, realign, and to do business that fits who you are becoming, not just what you've done. A gentle business is one that has flexibility. It honors your growth. It encourages you to step back from time to time and analyze, how is your business doing? Start asking questions, and then acknowledging what is working, what isn't, and where you need to make some changes. Because when you look at where you are now, where you started, where you are now, and where you think possibly you're headed, this isn't just about your standard pivot. It's not just about saying, I am going to move from left to right and head in a new direction. It is an internal business pivot. It's a rebellion. It's a rebellion against that toxic hustle and those shoulds, as we've talked about. But it's also against staying stuck in the version of success that no longer fits you. Because as you grow, as you find ways to make a greater impact, you're going to find that your definition of success changes a little bit. As a virtual assistant, I was so excited to get a client where I could have them for a certain number of hours every month. As a web designer, I got excited to have a package that maybe took me 3 months, and I got to work with them for 3 months. Now I love to work one-on-one or in small intimate groups with women to really dig deep into their business and figure out what is keeping them from moving forward, what is keeping them stuck, and helping them to identify patterns and themes and things that they may not be able to see because they're in it every day. And that is what is so exciting about being in community and going through a gentle business rebellion together. And so when you do that, then you are able to make that internal business pivot. In order to make the changes that you need to make, you have to know deep down inside, yes, this is the change. This is what I believe in. I'm ready to take the next step. And an internal business pivot says, I am ready to take that first step. I have reached that line in the sand moment, as we talked about in the last episode, and I'm ready to take that next step. It's not asking you to jump from step 1 to step 10. It's asking you to take that next gentle step. And that takes an internal pivot, an internal identity shift to say, I am ready to go there. In a Gentle Business Rebellion, we are working hard to guide you through strategic and gentle realignment. But again, one that is rooted in rest. Because real change begins with pausing and learning to work from a place of rest. On a walk recently, a lot of times my walks with my dog in the morning end up being prayer walks or thinking walks or just really enjoying the scenery, and then my subconscious is working in the background. During a recent walk, the Lord gave me the phrase, it starts with rest. And that just opened up a whole new dimension for me in terms of the Gentle Business Rebellion. I know that a Gentle Business Rebellion is rooted in rest, not toxic hustle. But the fact that it starts with rest, it really opened my eyes to understand why I love to talk about my morning walks, why I love to talk about setting aside time for a mini retreat, why I love to talk about why you need to set aside time to review your business, because all of that allows you to work and do business from a place of rest. These are habits that are so important, because when you can work from a place of rest, you're doing business in an intentional way instead of a reactive way. You are doing things in a way that's strategic instead of throwing spaghetti at the wall and see what sticks. And it's building confidence because you can think clearly and you can take action and see the results of your actions. Because when you are ready to pivot, when you are ready to make some changes, you're not ready to tear it all down and start over. And a lot of times a pivot in a business is not tearing everything down. It is making very strategic, small movements, small changes that allow you to slowly move to a new direction. Now, I do have people that did just get to a point where I am done. I need to start over. Here's the new thing. And they found a new thing that fit them really well. And that is appropriate sometimes, but most of the time, this pivot is a gentle process of transition, of becoming, of understanding who you are growing into be, and being willing and able and confident enough to take that first step. But again, from a place of rest, so that you're not forcing yourself to get out there and yell into the void, be on all the spaces. You are ready to do business differently. And as this podcast is called, we're ready to do business gently. So how do we do this? How do we approach this? There's 3 core things that I believe a Gentle Business Rebellion has. It is rooted in community, conversation, and coaching. Because we need community. A lot of us are isolated, especially if we're working from home and working online. And though we may see faces on Zoom, we may have people on Voxer, we may talk to people in the DMs or in conversations on the social media channels. But there's nothing like getting together with a group of people on a regular basis where they become familiar, they know you, you know them, and you start working together to connect. You find a place of belonging, and you find a way to get help and give help. And that was really what makes a Gentle Business Rebellion very unique, I think, is that you are there for other people and other people are there for you. Also, conversation. Conversation can happen in so many different ways, but because we are highly sensitive people, we're HSPs, we're probably introverted, or we're going through a really tough season, we need a safe place to show up and talk. And again, this could be on a Voxer conversation. It could be a text thread. It could be in a community where you're doing it in a group or you're sending a DM. But it's a place where you feel safe enough to say, I need help. This is not working and I'm frustrated. It's also a place that we can have a reflective and a safe conversation about, okay, what's not working? What is working? How do we help you find that next step? How do we help you find that pivot? How do we help you understand that it's okay to just show up and say, I just need to vent, or I just need to share what's going on, and we sit down and pray with you, or we gently guide you through a practice to help you not feel so frustrated and scattered. So community, conversation, and then coaching. I am a business coach. Call myself a gentle business coach. And it allows you to get help, personalized support that's strategic, but also very gentle and not forcing you out of your comfort zone. Yes, I'd love to push you a little bit and I will shove you a little bit, just gently, but I'm not going to ask you again, as said before, we're not going to ask you to jump from step 1 to step 5 or step 10. We're just asking you to take the next best step for you. And that's a gentle approach, because each time you take a step, you're going to get clarity. That clarity is going to give you confidence. That confidence is going to encourage you to take another step. And as you take another step, you're going to get more clarity. Clarity does come through taking action, not just thinking about finding clarity. You have to take steps to go and find it. A lot of times clarity comes through the journey. And with a gentle business rebellion, you have that option to join a community, join a conversation, or get coaching to help you do that. Because when you can move from confusion to clarity and from insight to implementation, you discover the core of what you really want to do, and you get excited about it, and you get confidence from that. And I don't think we can always do that alone. I think we can start the journey, but to continue the journey, I think we need to be in community, and in a community that fits us. So that is really what the Gentle Business Rebellion is all about. It is about coming together, whether that is a one-on-one coaching session, whether that's in a community, whether it's in a mastermind, whether it's from coming through a workshop or a live event, somewhere where you feel like you are safe enough and you're getting a soft place to land. Because a lot of us are stressed out, we're confused, and that my favorite word right now is stuckness. There's just this feeling of, I don't know what to do, but I know I can't stay here anymore. It is now time to make a change. So I hope that you are ready to start your own Gentle Business Rebellion. I hope that you get curious about what it would be like to have a business that allows you to have a life first business. I would love to take you through the journey to show you how to find your next thing, how you can, through questions and conversation and community, through the coaching that you get from me or from the other women in a group, how you can find your internal business pivot so that you can figure out that next step. And when you are looking for a pivot like that, you are looking at an identity shift. And sometimes that can be scary to do on your own. So I hope that you will join me and stay with me as we dive further into this idea of a gentle business rebellion. What is the transformation like? What are some of the tools that we use to go through a rebellion? And find out what's next for you. Because when you understand it and you can see it, there's really nothing more exciting. And it's fun to watch the eyes light up and the aha moments show up when a woman finally understands, that's it. That's what I've been trying to figure out. There's a lot you can do on your own, but you get there a lot faster with coaching, conversation, and community. So join me next time. We're going to dive into a bit more about the pillars of a gentle business rebellion and some of the tools and resources that we use to take ourselves through a rebellion, to move from confusion into clarity and find what is your next best step so that you can pivot into the next level of entrepreneurship for you.